I have a question for you. A very simple question. Tell me, what is XLVII plus LXII? I'm waiting. Not so easy, is it? Now imagine, you're a soldier in the Roman army. Every evening, you have to write down how many swords, shields, and sandals your troops have. With these numbers, every day. "110. Exactly, but I bet you had to think about it for a second. The Romans conquered half the world, but when it came to arithmetic, they had a bit of a problem there. I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. Let's start by getting back in time. Ancient Rome, about 2,000 years ago. The Romans built things that are still standing today. Roads, bridges, the Colosseum. The Romans were masters of construction. Aqueducts that transported water over mountains. Laws that still shape Europe today. And a number system, one they inherited from the Etruscans and never really improved. Why not? Good question. I still ask myself that sometimes. The entire Roman numeral system consists of 7 symbols. Just 7. That sounds simple, and it is, at least as long as you don't have to do any arithmetic. Look closely. I is 1, V is 5, X is 10, and then we jump. L is 50, C is 100, D is 500, M is 1000. Do you notice anything? There are no 2s, number 6s, no 20s. The system only knows these 7 building blocks, and builds everything else from them. The basic principle is addition. Next to next symbols are added. 3 is 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3. 8 is 5 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 8. 12 is 10 plus 1 plus 1 equals 12. Simple, right? 17. Correct. X is 10, V is 5, 2 is 1 plus 1. 10 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1 equals 17. This works perfectly, until you try it with large numbers. But we'll get to that in a moment. The Romans had a problem. 4 looked odd. 4 lines next to each other. It was confusing. So they came up with a trick. It's like a trick within a trick. Not 4, but IV. Not VII, but IX. It looks neater that way. And it saves space on stone slabs, which were quite expensive back then. But, and this is important, there are strict rules. Only certain combinations are allowed. Not every lowercase letter can precede every uppercase letter. Remember, only one sign is used for subtraction. Not IX for 8. That's wrong. 8 is 8. And now for today's trick question. XC, correct. IXC is not allowed. You can only subtract one sign at a time, not 2. For 90, you substitute X for C. 100 minus 10 equals 90. There you go. Subtraction principle understood. Onward. Here's a task for you. Look around you today, on your way home, at home, in front of the TV. I bet you'll find Roman numerals everywhere. Clocks. Classic wall clocks often display Roman numerals. And here's a curious thing. Many old clocks write 4 instead of IV for 4. Why? That remains unclear to this day. Perhaps symmetry. Perhaps tradition. Perhaps because it looked nicer. I was present at the first clockmaker's workshop. He didn't know anything about it. These numbers aren't everywhere because they're better. They're there because they're old. And people like to preserve old things, especially if they sound solemn or important. MMXXVI somehow sounds more powerful than 2026. Don't you think? 2026. Exactly. MM equals 2000, XX equals 20, y equals 6. 2000 plus 20 plus 6 equals 2026. That's the current year, by the way. I've been involved for a very long time, but I still find 2026 exciting. And now comes the most important part of this module. Let me show you something the Romans would have preferred not to have thought about. Let's try something simple first. 14 plus 23. 14 plus 23. That should work, right? In Roman numerals. Sort the symbols, add them together. X plus X equals XX, I plus I equals 2, V plus 2 equals 7. 37. Phew, it works, but it takes time. And now the real question. XLVII times IX. 47 times 9, multiplying in Roman numerals using the written method. There's no system, no place value, no method. The Romans themselves solved it with the abacus, a calculating tool with beads. Multiplying by hand is actually impossible. And that's the most important lesson of the entire module. A number system must be able to do two things. First, represent numbers. Second, perform calculations with them. The Romans only managed the first. Good for inscriptions, bad for mathematics. This isn't a criticism of the Romans. They accomplished incredible things, but sometimes we use a tool for too long, even if it's no longer suitable. A magnifying glass is good for making fire. It's less suitable for hammering. Number systems work the same way. Okay, you've got the basics. Now let's test how fast you can get. Don't worry, I'll give you tips if you get stuck. Ready? First round, easy. "42. XL is 40, 2 is 2. Together, 42, and known as the answer to everything. But that's another story. Onward. "99. XC is 90, IX is 9. 90 plus 9 equals 99. Well done. And now, the ultimate challenge. I'm warning you, this is a trick question. I only got it right on the second try myself. "1999, M equals 1000, CM equals 900, XC equals 90, X equals 9. 1000 plus 900 plus 90 plus 9 equals 1999. That was the year before the new millennium began, and a very popular year for movie titles and song lyrics, as I've observed. And now it's your turn. Here's your task. Write your birth year in Roman numerals. I'll show you how. Your birth year in Roman numerals. Sounds kind of important, doesn't it? Almost like a title for a king, or a movie hero, or some ancient numerical spirit that's always been there. Here are a few more years for comparison. See if yours is included, or if you were able to calculate it yourself. Have you found yours? If not, then it was 2012 or earlier. MMXII is 2012. MMXI is 2011. MMVII is 2008. I'm sure you've figured it out. You're faster than some legionnaires. I spent a long time with the Romans. A very long time. I watched their legionaries march. I watched their engineers building aqueducts. I was there when they finished the Colosseum. It was impressive, truly. But their figures, they could have reconsidered those. That's not a weakness. It's a learning lesson. Every invention has its expiration date. Eventually, something better comes along. And then you move on. And do you know what the Romans themselves used when they really needed to do calculations? The abacus, a device with beads and rods, the first calculator in history. They inherited it from the Greeks, and the Greeks had it from the Babylonians. And who perfected the abacus to such an extent that it's still used today? China. Until the next stop, the journey continues, from Rome to China, from stone and sword to chopsticks and abacus. I'm excited, and you?